All right, we've been back from Sturgis now into Canada for a couple days. We're still on holidays and about 16 hours drive from home, but we are in Vernon, BC in the Okanagan. And I just had some time to give some thoughts more so on Sturgis 2025. And our trip this year of riding the bikes down through Idaho, Washington, Montana, Wyoming, and South Dakota. So it was definitely a different trip than last year, where we loaded the bikes up in the toy hauler, drove the truck and trailer all the way there, unloaded a few times on the way and did rides, and then trailered back. So there's so much chat in all the forums about all the people trailer into Sturgis, and I just kind of wanted to give my thoughts on the differences between, for us anyhow, between trailering and doing the ride. Now, both had its some big advantages that I liked and didn't like. One of the big ones with trailering for us was we're from northern British Columbia, and we don't have the heat that we get along the way. So it did pose some challenges trying to, for us on the heat and doing the ride is, we were dying of heat, having to pull over lots. But I think that was also made it part of the adventure. Now, if I had to compare trailering versus riding, I'll take the riding any day. I loved the riding. There's just so much more that it brought to the trip versus just being in Sturgis. And I think everybody needs to go to Sturgis at least once and experience it. I love it there, but the getting there to me is more than the being there. Once you're there, nothing much had changed since last year. It was the same vendors, the same t-shirt booths, the same experience once we were there, the same rides. But the getting there was, to me, what made the trip. When we drove, we never met people. You'd pull over, we'd get gas, and you'd push through for another so many hours of driving. And on the bike, it seemed every stop we were meeting people from all over the States. We met so many Canadians as well on the trip, and that to me made it worthwhile. I love meeting people, and that's what we were talking about on our way back, of just Kayla was saying how she's almost socialized out, and we did a trip with just two of us, and to be socialized out, because every stop we were meeting people, and I really enjoyed that. Down through the States, the hospitality that we were shown was absolutely amazing. And, sometimes I forget just how great people are. So we met a lot of people, made some new friends, and, we had a great trip. And I think when you're trailering, that is probably a lot of what we're missing out on, doing that. Sturgis, yeah, it's great. I love it there. I like, going for the rides, going to the concerts, but all of the back roads and scenery that we've seen that we never did with the truck and trailer, and all the little towns that we went into that, pulling the big trailer, we didn't want to chance or try to get stuck in these towns or getting back onto the interstate. And yeah, that's what made the trip. The experience, the weather. Yes, we had hot weather and it kicked our ass, but that's part of what we'll be talking about. And I always used to say, making memories, and that's exactly whether weather was good, weather was bad. We never got hailed on, but we did get rain. We had hot weather. We had one morning that was really cold, where Kayla was bundled up in every piece of gear that she had. So that's part of that experience that I find you don't get when you're sitting in towing the trailer, sitting in the truck with the AC on. On the other hand, not having the trailer, once we were in Sturgis and it was hot, And after doing, I think our trip was about 3,600 miles. We didn't feel like doing as many rides as we did the year before. We weren't fresh, ready to go, unload the bikes out of the trailer. And then the other part is when we came back, we tented once we were in Sturgis, getting out of the heat. We sat and tried pulling tarps over the bikes and our tent to have some shade. We did not have a lot of shade, so I think we just didn't ride as much there as we did the year before. So that was a bit of our downside to it. I can honestly say next time I go, I won't trailer. I don't want a trailer. I love the ride, and that's what it's about, is riding, meeting people, and doing your thing. So as I say, I won't trailer. The difference is I also won't tent when I'm in Sturgis. I'm gonna decide to either get a cabin or something with some shade or a hotel. I'll save a little longer to make the trip and try to experience it that way, with a roof over our head, some shade and a spot to cool off, so that we're not just looking for any ways to cool down. So it was a great experience. I can't wait to do it again. Happy to be back in Canada. If you see here in the background, I'm sitting at one of my favorite little lookout spots over Kalamalka Lake, and it is absolutely gorgeous. But needless to say, we also discovered so many gorgeous spots that we had never been to. When we were in, I think it's northern Montana, at around the town of Polson, which I didn't even know existed until a few days ago. We were blown away by just how nice it was there. And our whole conversation while riding along the lake was all about how we want to come back, camp, or bring the boat there. Just some amazing spots. So if you're thinking of making the trip to Sturgis, whether you trailer, whether you ride, however you do it, get out. But I want to say I've always been a person who either gets behind the wheel of the truck or gets on the bike, and I want to go, and I'm always thinking of what's the destination. But in the last couple of years, I've learned it's not about the destination, it's about everything along the way. So one of the other towns that I really liked that we never would have stopped with truck and trailer, going through Montana, I like Deer Lodge. I was blown away with the size of the prison there and the big brick walls, and even out in all the little towns that we went through in Wyoming. We'd plunk something in the GPS and pretty much not look what was along the way, and then we'd discover these little towns that we never knew. All right, so I gotta shut this one short. My camera here, it is hot out today. My camera's overheating just recording in this weather. So anyways, we had an awesome trip. I can't wait to do it again. Hope everybody had fun at Sturgis, and we'll see you again possibly next year.